Hey guys, AD Wheeler here for the Explorographer.com, and we are here on day 3 of the unRAID Server Pro build. And if you guys are following along from day 1 and day 2, we did some unboxing and then we did some building. And now we're to the stage where I'm actually, because this is kind of late, I apologize. I had a lot of things going on. I don't even want to get into it right now, but let's just say that with all of that going on, I didn't have time to film, and I apologize for that. But we have the server installed. We got the OS running. Super simple, super easy. You'll have to trust me on that. Fired up the first time. So I think if you follow this build and you get all the same components and you put it together the way that I did, it really is a just turn it on and go sort of solution. I'm going to talk a little bit about unRAID because that's kind of like the whole thing we're doing here. So I'll get that running. As you can see, I'm giving you guys a different view today. I'm actually giving you a view from the other side of the screen, which is kind of weird, but if you're enjoying these awesome wallpapers that are rotating here behind me, those are donated by my friends Mitch Russo, Jamie Peters, and Evan Jones. And if you want to, you can check down in the description of this video, and I'll give you links to their websites because you're going to want to follow these guys. They're amazing. So thank you to those guys for providing the beauty for the background for me to work. So right now I've got a virtual machine running. I've got my 35 terabytes of backup storage. Remember, 5 terabytes of that is used actually for parity to make sure that the files are good. So while we have 40 in there, we're ending up with 35 total. But I've also got some other drives I'm going to add. But they're coming along slowly. I've got to clean those off and do all that kind of stuff, which I'll be doing. But this will be the final video today, and we're going to take a look at the unRAID OS. So I want you guys to see that. I think that's pretty cool. And again, thank you to the folks over at Lime Technology for taking care of me and supporting this build. You guys are awesome. Your software is amazing. I love it personally. I know there's other choices like FreeNAS out there, and I haven't gotten into that. I have a friend who uses FreeNAS, and he likes it too. So that's cool. I just chose to go with unRAID. I have several other friends who use it and love it. So yeah, it works perfectly for what I'm doing. So we're going to talk about that and a little bit more in this segment of my unRAID Pro server build. All right, guys, we'll see you on the other side of the screen thing somewhere. All right, guys, so the very first thing I'm going to do is take you into my server room here, which is actually, it's actually a closet. Yep, it's a closet door. And what I've done is this is like a walk-in storage closet that I have. And yeah, so what I did is I parked the server in here, so pay no mind to my mess. But this is actually what's nice is this room is air conditioned, so we can keep it nice and cool. So here's the server in here. I don't know how much you guys can see of that, but there it is. Let me walk around the light. We actually have we got a Cyber Power 850 watt battery backup, and that is being monitored by the server here. So everything's running in the back there, and the server is here. Stationed right now, so we got an extra drive in there right now. We get a little WD drive up in top that I'm using for extra storage for now, just testing some things out. But yeah, we've got all of our drives in there. Everything's running really well. I'm really happy with it. And we're going to take a look at the front side now. Keep in mind, when I set this up, I actually plugged in a keyboard here and a mouse. So that and a monitor in the back so that I could actually get it configured. So you're going to want to do that when you first start up. Plug a monitor in the back. This particular board comes with a VGA adapter in it so that you can get basic video. You plug in your keyboard and your mouse. You get it configured. And then once it's configured, you can run headless with it. So after that point, we can go ahead and we can just totally run it over the net through the web GUI. So that's what I'm doing now. And that's the interface that we're going to take a look at next. So awesome. And I want to tell you guys how easy this was. I plugged in the monitor, plugged in the keyboard, I turned on the system, unRAID booted up off the USB drive. Of course, I had to set that in the BIOS. You got to do, you know, the basic stuff to get it to work. But it's just set the BIOS to load from the USB stick and power it up, plug everything in, and just sit there and watch it go. And it goes through and it cleans the drives. It goes ahead and sets up the array for you. You have to fill in some spaces where it says what disks do you want to use. And once you do that, it goes ahead and sets that up, and then sets up the parity drive, which takes forever, a long time to get that running. But once that's all done, I mean, the machine's doing that. I'm not. Once that's done doing its thing, you're ready to go. And then you can install your apps, your VMs, and all that kind of stuff. That's where we're at now, and that's what I'm going to show you at this point. There are plenty of videos out there to show you how to set up your server. I just want to let you guys know that with this board and this configuration, I don't think it could be any easier. There were no hiccups during the entire thing. Plug and play, and that's why I'm doing this video, is because I thought it was so easy that anybody could basically do it. So, all right, let's jump around out front, and we'll get back to looking at the screens out front. And then what we're going to do is we're going to load it up here on this top screen, and we're going to do a little video on basically all the cool things you could do with unRAID and this server build. All right, guys, we'll get this going right now. All right, guys, as you can see, I have the unRAID Server Pro web GUI up here, and this is version 6.2.0, release copy 5. It's kind of like a beta right now of the 6.2, but it's very stable, and I've been running this now for a week or so. And you can see here that I have all of my NAS drives configured, and I have a parity drive here at the beginning. So that gives me roughly, 36 terabytes total here. And I've already started copying a lot of my files over and doing that. So I'm running a Windows machine, and so I just created an SMB share for my folders, and I shared them with my main system, and it just connects over the internet. I am running 2 NIC cards that are bonded right now, and I'm getting a sustained speed of 1.12 gigabits, or 112 megabytes per second, sustained. And I'll show you that here in a little bit. We'll transfer a file, and you can kind of see how that works. So here's what you get on the main screen, and it's just a nice readout of your cache drives, which is an SSD here that I put in. Also, the flash drive where my OS is located, and then all of my array disk drives that I am currently making backups on. And then you have, of course, your shares, which show you all the different folders that I'm sharing. A lot of these I'm sharing as drives or as network drives, so they look like a network drive to my system, but they're super easy to set up, and they're secure because they're password locked and all of that. So there's very secure setup. I really dig that. So, all right, and then we have users. Obviously, you can set up usernames and passwords and lock everything. And then we come to the settings page. This is where system settings and network services and preferences and all that kind of stuff come up. And you can basically control your server from here. I have a couple of things that are installed. I have the apps plugin installed so that it acts like almost like if you think like an Apple Store or an Android Play store, all of the apps are available for your server, and you can just click and install them super easy, and their resources are all included. So it's pretty nice. Right now I've got a couple here that are recommended: the Fix Common Problems plugin and System Temp, and then tips and tweaks for really getting your system grooving and going pretty quick. And as you can see here, network services we have installed. We can do an Apple share, we can do NFS and for Linux, and we can also do FTP and all that. Right now my FTP is closed down. This particular server is not available on the net at all, so it's essentially locked away from the net. It's only available to my internal network. And we have an SMB share, which we use for Windows, so that's what we're using right now. I will tell you there's a tweak that I did to get the sustained 112 megabytes per second. I'll take a look at my network settings here. And what I've done is I've bonded the 2 NIC cards that are actually on the motherboard as one. And once you've done that, and set up, I set up a static IP and all that kind of stuff. Once you've done that, you want to set your bonding mode to 802.3 AD. And basically, that was the kicker for me. It was when I changed to that, I got all of the speed that I was looking for. Also, the desired MTU, normally we're used to this being at 1500 for modems and on the internet, but for this internal switched network, I'm using an MTU of 7500, and this will go up to 9000. I'm being conservative here because I'm still testing things and making sure they work right, but this was also a big factor for me to get some good speeds out of the system, was changing this to 7500 from the standard 1500, which is what you get on install. All right, let's look at plugins. So the plugins are super easy to install. Of course, we have the basic ones. This is the community applications, which we'll look at here in a second. The dynamic system temperature relies that you install Perl on your system, which is fairly easy to do as well, and that works really well. You can see down here my system temperature is 35C on the CPU and 29 internal, which is very good if in this little room. And it's, like I said, it's air conditioned, so it keeps it nice and cool. And you can see all of your other stuff. And periodically, you'll hit the check updates button, and it'll go through, and it will look for any updates to your apps. It'll go ahead and check all of those. And when it's done, you hit the done, and it'll come back, and it'll give you a little blip. Now, I have these to automatically check for updates, so it'll come up with a little notification in the corner up here when it's time to update a plugin. So that's that. Okay, we also have installed Docker, where we have some apps here installed. We have Plex Server installed, SAB, and Sickbeard, and basically that's just to essentially to feed Plex with anything that I'm looking for there. And then we also have, this is the apps plugin, which I really like this a lot. And it's basically makes like an Apple store for your unRAID. And so, yeah, I really dig this. I think this is a great development right now. Yeah, and I really can't wait to see where this goes in the future. So you can check out, there's cloud apps here. It's really nice. Setting up the Dropbox and all sorts of stuff, and your Google Music Manager. Very cool. And then we have down here on the end tools. So we have all of the basic, if there's a problem or if something's going on, we can run reports. We can set up, your web GUI and all that kind of stuff, and we can find out more about registration here and all of that. So this is super easy to run, guys. I'm going to show you what it looks like on the other side, so you guys can see what we've got going on here. And you can see I have mapped network drives here that will act just like a regular drive. The system thinks it's a regular drive. So we can look at music and apps and video renders and all that kind of stuff. So here's my photo archive. You can see it's very fast. And what I thought I would do here is I think I'm just going to drag and drop a video file here just so you can get an idea of what we're talking about for speeds. So I think I have a video from today, which is going to be really weird. It's like Inception, right? But I have a video here. I think this video is let's see. Yeah, it's 1 gigabyte. So we're going to drop a 1 gigabyte video in here. 1.13 gigabytes. So we're going to drop that in this folder, and we'll take a look at the speeds here and how it transfers. And there you go. Now I'm just using a simple 1 gigabit Linksys SE3005, a switch that I picked up at Staples. I mean, it was $50. I could get a 10 gigabit and put another NIC card in my main system when I get to that point. That's what I'll probably do, and I'll bond the NIC cards in my main system, and they're bonded in the server, and then I'll get a much better throughput on both of those, which will be great. But for right now, this works out really well. It serves out to my Roku units that I have 2 TVs that have Roku on them, and I serve media files to those, like movies and whatnot. And I'm doing transfers here, and I'm also running a virtual machine. So let's take a look at that really quick, and you can see how that rolls. So you can see the file transfers are really great. All right, so let's jump over here and take a look at a VM. I really wanted to show you guys. I'm actually running Windows 8.1 on this system, and I'm using it to render files. So I have a watch folder on the server, and it watches for projects to be dropped into it, and then it goes ahead and renders those projects so that I have my videos done using a renderer. So I'm just going to show you, I'm going to start up the VM manager here, and this was super easy to install. I thought this was going to be really difficult, and it's really not. There's lots of great guides online for installing these VMs, and they work. They're great. They run in the background, and they don't chew up too much of my CPU. So let's jump over, and we're going to take a look at Windows. We're going to kick up Windows on a VNC here, and we're going to take a look at it. So here's Windows right here, 8.1. We're going to go ahead and start that. And then once it starts, we're going to go ahead and open up the VNC remote. So here you can see that we're booting from the hard disk, just like it's a DOS window, basically. And here's Windows starting. Now, I don't usually use this. I actually remote desktop into my VM, and I actually get like a more accelerated version, and it runs full screen. And this monitor that I'm recording on here is a 3440 by 1440 wide curved Dell monitor, and it literally, if you run it full screen, it's like I have a Windows machine right here, and it's running off the server. So I think it's really great that that this works so well and seamlessly. I'm very surprised. What we're gonna do is wait till it boots up here, and then I'm gonna go ahead and make this so that it fills up the whole 1080 screen here. The VNC is weird when you resize it. Now, if you run in a remote desktop through Windows and connect, or through Apple or whatever, if you do that, it's very fast and does connect quite quickly. So that's pretty cool. So we're gonna go ahead and type in our password here. Don't look at my password now. Don't look. All right. And we're going to go ahead and log in. And this is just, it's great. You know, I'm going to show you how well and seamlessly it works for a Windows install. I have Chrome on here. We have folders that open up just, you know, like it's a machine. It's fairly fast, as you can see. I can't run accelerated games on here, but it does work for my Adobe renderer to render offline. You know, I can render away from my production machine and have this guy chugging along for me in the background while I continue the work. So you can see here, it's pretty fast and speedy, not bad. And you know, it's Windows 8.1, of course, but you know, it works, and that's all I really care about right now at this point in time. It's using my native keyboard here, so you know, everything works just like as if it's its own machine, and that's basically it. I think we'll go ahead and close the VNC. Now that'll continue to run in the background. And as you can see here, the CPU load is like nothing. And I'm running this, I think I have this as a 16 gigabyte memory allocation for Windows 8.1. And it's seriously not even messing with this Xeon processor. It's really great. I've been super happy with all of that. So yeah, that's kind of a look around at unRAID. It's very cool. I think if you want a NAS with a little bit more usability, then you're definitely going to want to look at unRAID. I am super happy with it. I couldn't be more thrilled at how well it's worked. And I've already done like parity checks and stuff on my files, and everything's coming back great. So there's a lot of diagnostics here you can look at, but you know, you don't have to go that deep. It just works. And I think that's the greatest part of this whole setup. So if there's any questions that you guys have about this setup, or anything that I can help you with in getting your setup going, please feel free to leave a comment below. I'd love to hear from you guys. This channel is kind of like, I get an idea and it's my photography channel, and I'm really storing a lot of my photos and things over here and making backups of them. So, you know, if you're a photographer and you want help doing this sort of thing, please hit me up. I'm more than happy to help you guys out and, you know, do what I can to get you rolling on this. And yeah, so leave a like the video. That always helps. Leave a comment, subscribe to my channel, all of that stuff. And I hope you guys enjoyed this 3 video. I know it's kind of silly, some of it, but I like to have fun with this stuff. I think that's the main thing. But if you guys enjoyed these videos, please make sure that you subscribe to the channel and share it with your friends or whatever. All right, guys, that's gonna wrap it up for this video. And thanks again so much for hanging out with me for these 3. And yeah. Cool. We'll see you guys next time.